Have you ever wanted to create lots of stars in the background of your new graphic? Or maybe you're drawing a tree and you want the leaves dynamically falling from the branches. Well, with the spray tool, you can do exactly that. Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. Rob from Button Press Graphics here, and today I'm going to be showing you the fundamentals of how to use the spray tool. So without further ado, let's get started. Now when it comes to the spray tool, there are a few things you need to know. What the spray tool does at a fundamental level is spray clones or copies of any selection that you make. If you take a look on the screen right now, as you can see, I made this within literally 1 to 2 minutes. And the way that I did that was by using these three shapes here. Using the spray can tool is very intuitive, but there is a lot to it that can be a bit daunting if you don't know what all the features do. So let me run through the properties for the spray tool before we begin. You can find the spray tool on the left hand toolbar right here. Click that, then you can see all of these options appear on your top properties toolbar. Don't worry though, I am going to show you what most of them mean. Now when it comes to the mode, you can either spray copies of the initial selection, spray clones of the initial selection, or spray objects in a single pass. For today, I'm going to be using spray clones of initial selection. Now the difference between the first two modes, which are the two modes that you will use the most, is when you have created all your copies, if they are clones, you will still be able to edit them. You will still be able to change the color, and it will be represented in all the clones that you have sprayed already. Now when it comes to the width, that will relate to this big orange circle that I have got around my cursor right now. The bigger it is, the more surface area you are using when you're spraying your objects. The smaller it is, the more precise you can be if you're wanting the objects to be in a very small area. The amount is the amount of copies it will give you per click. So if I have it set on 10, as you can see, there are not many shapes. But if I was to up that to 100, now if you take a look at this one in comparison to this, you see a massive change. When it comes to rotation, that is signifying how much each of the objects will rotate. So if you have that set to 0, all of the shapes will have the same rotation. If you set it to 100, you'll notice that all the rotations are different. Scale does exactly what it says on the tin. When it comes to spraying, you can have 0 scale and everything will match the initial selection. If you have 100, you'll get lots of variations in the size of your objects. Scatter is exactly the same for the objects that you are spraying. For focus, that is going to only spray right in the center of where you are spraying. And as for these 4 little toggles on the end, if you have this button pressed, it will apply over no transparent areas. However, the next one along allows you to apply only over transparent areas. If you want to apply over both, then you will have them both selected. So a quick rule of thumb is, with this option selected, it will only go over any areas that are transparent, but with this one selected, it will go over no transparent areas and will only go over where there are objects. Now when it comes to this one, with it selected, there will be no overlap between any of the colors. And finally, this one is to prevent any objects overlapping. So if I was to turn these two options off and then I was to start to spray, as you can see, now they all overlap, and by simply turning that back on, none of them will overlap. So how would you go about using a tool like this? Well, there are a lot of different methods you can use this tool for, but a few of the caveats that you might need to know is when you have got your objects that you want to start to spray. If you were simply to start spraying now, as you can see, nothing is happening. The reason for that is because we haven't got the selection selected. As you can see in this top corner, these three objects have not been selected. So if we go to our select tool, we highlight all of them, and then we come back down to our spray tool, we can then start spraying the objects. And because of the settings that I have currently got, as you can see, I have the apply over transparent areas and do not overlap. So it is not going to overlap and it is not going to paint on this area here because it is not a transparent area. However, if I was to select this eyeball and then deselect the transparent areas and do it again, as you can see, I can go outside of this box and nothing will spray. Yet inside the box, everything will. So how about an example of what you can do with this method? As you can see, I am currently on ChatGPT. I've just asked ChatGPT to give me 20 words relating to graphic design, and these are the ones that have come up. So I'm just going to simply highlight all of these words, right click and select copy, and now I'm going to add these words to my document. So I'm going to come to the text tool, hit Ctrl V, and there you go, we have all the words that ChatGPT came up with. Now I'm going to show you a quick design that anybody can do simply by using the methods that I've shown you with the spray tool. Now before we can use this text, we need to convert it to a path. So with it selected, we are going to path object to path. Now that it is a path, we can ungroup it into its separate words by selecting ungroup on the top toolbar right here. Now as you can see, they are all separate words, but they are not registered as text. They are registered as a path. Now I'm just going to go through these and I'm just going to get variations of the color before we start. And now we have our 20 words with different colors and variations within them. So now with that done, I'm going to come back to our text editor and I'm going to write graphic design. And now I'm just going to edit the text to make it look a lot thicker and a lot more central. And now that I've got something that I am happy with, I am simply going to leave that there for now, and I'm going to click and drag over all of the words that ChatGPT came up with. Now with all of these selected, I'm going to go back down to my spray can tool, and I'm going to keep the settings that I previously had, which is width 30, amount 100. I'm going to turn the rotation all the way down to 0. I'm going to leave the scale as 100. I'm going to scatter as 100, and I'm going to focus at 100. And finally, out of these four options on the end, I'm going to leave this one unchecked, which is apply over no transparent areas. I'm going to make sure that the closed eye is checked. I'm going to check this no overlap between colors. And I'm going to make sure that this end one, prevent overlapping objects, is also checked. Now with all them settings done, I'm going to use one of my favorite methods when it comes to text. And are you ready? And there you go. Now, as you can see, it has created what I consider to be a very, very cool design. Now you can go further to this, you can add a background, and of course you can add any shadows that you want, but even just looking at it as it is, it looks really, really good. So there you go, my friends, that is how you can use the spray tool in your projects. I hope you have fun using this, and if you do, please by all means send them in to me. I would love to see your work. Welcome to the Creative Corner. Before I get started, let me just say thank you so much to the person who sent this in. He was following my tutorial for stylizing any image, and this is what he came up with. Suffice to say, I am very impressed, and like I have already told him, the gradient is not typically something that is used in this method, but this makes all the difference for this one. I am very, very impressed. Great job, Mohammed. Hopefully, I will see some more of your work in the future. If you have any that you would like to send in, all you have to do is attach it to an email and send it to buttonpressgraphics@gmail.com. I would really love to see them. Also, I would like to give another major shout out to the Lady Pixiness for becoming the first member of the channel. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. So until next time, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell, say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next week.